Look, bro, it's taking you longer because you're doing it right. You're not out here scamming. You're not out here, trying to take the fast route. That's why it's taking you longer. And it's okay that it takes long. Real growth is going to take time. Real growth is going to take patience. Real growth is going to take a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of consistency, a lot of discipline. Real growth is going to take time, and it's okay because you're doing it the right way. It's going to take longer because you're doing it the right way. If you're trying to build something that's going to last, if you're trying to build something that's going to, be here forever, like it's supposed to take longer. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be a long ride. It's supposed to be a long journey. It's supposed to be a long process. And that's why I always say, like, just trust your process. Just trust the work that you're putting in is going to pay off one day. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to take a long time. It's not going to happen in a month. It's not going to happen maybe in a year. Like, it's going to take a long time, but you just got to be along for the ride. You just got to be patient. You just got to wait till your moment and, keep working and keep grinding and keep going hard until that moment comes. Like, you're building the foundation right now. The work you're putting in, the time you're putting in, the energy putting in, like, this is your foundation, and you can only go up from your foundation. You know what I'm saying? You can only go up from the bottom. So just trust your process. Like, just trust your process. Just take your journey and trust it. Like, put faith in the work that you're putting in. Put faith in God, because it's gonna take a long time because you're doing it right. It's gonna take a long time because the way you're going about it is the right way. The fast track, it's overrated. The fast track does not last long. The fast track to success, or the fast track to goals being met or dreams being achieved, is overrated. And it's only temporary. The fast track is only temporary. That success that you get from, taking the shortcuts, or taking the short route, is only going to be temporary, because one day all that's going to fall apart. Like I said, it's taking you longer because you're building something that's going to last. It's taking you longer because you're building something that's going to be here forever. You know what I'm saying? And everybody nowadays wants the quick results. Everybody nowadays wants that overnight success, or the viral clip, the viral moment. And at some point, those things are going to wear off. We all heard of one hit wonders, bro. Like, artists, for example, like, they have one song that went viral, and then there's nothing after that. They haven't built a foundation. They haven't built something that's going to last. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the fast track and the shortcuts are overrated. They're not going to be here forever. The quick wins are often going to lead to a shallow route, like something that's going to come easy and go easy. Like, that's it. Like, they're not going to be here forever. The fast wins, the fast successes, the quick wins aren't going to be here forever. But taking the long road, that means that you're actually learning. You're actually growing. You're actually earning what you're putting forward. You're actually earning the success that you're going to get. You know what I'm saying? That hard work and that grind is going to pay off one day. Like, simple as that. Simple as that. Like, the work you're putting in, the time you're putting in, is going to pay off one day. You just got to trust that. You know what I'm saying? You just got to trust your process. You just got to trust your journey. And doing it right, bro, that means, like, you're not cutting no corners. When you fail, you're learning and you're adjusting, you're adapting. When you take an L, you're learning, you're adjusting, you're adapting. You're being intentional, not impulsive. You're being intentional with every move you make, every step you take. Like, there's an intention behind it. It's not just impulsiveness. You're doing it the right way. You're staying consistent, even when it may be hard to stay consistent. You're being disciplined. You're being consistent, even when it may not be exciting. You know what I'm saying? You're intentional with every move you make. You're consistent with every move you make. Every time you fail, you're learning, and you're not cutting no corners. Like, that is where maturity and patience and long-term thinking pay off. Simple as that. Like, the slow grind is going to build your confidence. The slow grind is going to build your maturity. The slow grind is going to build your patience. It's going to build your long-term thinking, because you're in it for the long haul already. You know what I'm saying? You're not cutting no corners. You don't want to get there fast. You want to be intentional with everything you do. Every time, you work and you grind, it's going to pay off one day. Like, there's some examples of the long term and the long way paying off. Like, from a fitness perspective, like, you're not going to see a six pack in a week, bro. Like, you're not. You're not going to see a six pack in a week. You're not going to see changes in your body in a week. It's that process and that work that you put in every single day for a longer amount of time is when you start to see those things pay off. Like, for purpose, the people who chase trends and the people who chase, a viral moment, like, that's never going to work. But the people who develop real skills and the people who develop, a good foundation, the people who develop a real following, like that's going to pay off in the long run. That's going to be something that lasts for a long time. From a mindset perspective, people who fake positivity, people who fake being disciplined, people who fake being consistent, like at some point that's going to wear off. But those who actually do the inner work to grow, those who actually do the work to heal, to build a good mindset, to build consistency, to build discipline, like those are the people who's going to have those habits forever. Those are the people whose habits are going to be there for the long haul, not just temporary. Like, just trust the slow process, trust the journey that you're on, trust every step that you're taking, because this slow season that you may be in right now, or your work season, your grind season that you might be in right now, is shaping your character. Not just the outcome that you want. It's shaping the person that you want to become. It's shaping that best version of yourself that you want to reach. If you try to rush the process, if you try to take shortcuts, if you try to take the cutting corners route, like when you get to the top, you might be unprepared. When you reach your success, you might not be ready for it because you did cut that corner, because you did rush the process. Like every day, builds who you want to be. Every work day, every grind day is building who you want to be. So why rush it? Like, why rush it? Just become the person that you want to be and just trust your process. It's going to take a long time, but you just got to be in for that long haul. You just got to be in for that journey. You got to be in for that process. If it's taking you a long time, like it's because you're becoming literally the best version of yourself. It's because you're becoming the person that you want to be, the person you've always said you want to be. Like, it's going to take you a long time to get there. You just got to be in for the long haul. You just got to be in for the journey. You just got to trust the journey, bro. Like, you're not behind. You're not behind. You're doing it the right way. So it's going to take you a long time. You're building something that's not going to collapse when life hits. You're building something that's not going to collapse when you get to the top. You're building something that's not going to be temporary, but something that's going to last for a long time. You know what I'm saying? You're doing it the right way. So just trust your timing. Trust God's timing, trust your plan, trust your journey, trust your process. And I promise you, bro, like you're going to get there one day. Like your breakthrough is coming, your success is coming. Those goals that you have for yourself are going to be met one day as long as you just keep working. Like, just keep working, just keep going. Because like I said, bro, it's going to take longer because you're doing it the right way. It's going to take longer because you're working on yourself in the right way. It's going to take longer because you're grinding, you're putting energy towards the right things in the right way. It's going to take a long time, but I promise you, you're going to get there one day. But with that being said, man, that'll be all for this video. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you like this video, go hit that sub button. We're on the way to 400 subs. Appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I'll see y'all in the next one.